we're gonna have the finish the check-ins now, then have a very small catalyst update, just like the past recent events, 5 minutes, and then we have a chunk of time to dedicate to that. And actually, I might need your help, Teddy, but yeah, we'll get to that in time. So I am very tired, and unfortunately, because this is just the beginning of my day, but I had one of those nights that, you know, you wake up 7 times and you don't know why, and you're suddenly very thirsty, and I don't know why I didn't do anything particularly different yesterday to deserve this punishment, but here I am feeling like an undead person. Honestly, feeling much better now that we are in this call. I think it's something that pulls my attention. But yeah, very fucked up, honestly. And very happy to know about the meetup. And JV mentioned maybe online meetups. I'm part of this other group called the Tomorrow Makers. They have some I don't know, maybe ideals similar to Inspiro, and it's all online. So maybe I can support you with that. I've been having those calls for a couple of months now, and they work well. It's actually quite fun. What I've been thinking, sensing, and feeling. Well, I've been seeing a lot of energy. There are moments where it comes and goes in waves, right? And now I feel like it's a high energy moment in Inspiro. Things like answers posts on the how to distribute the money, and you can see that people comment, and then people come back to this post and comment 1 day later, and I think this is a luxurious amount of energy. So I've been seeing a lot of that, and very happy that there's also like been moments of face-to-face. I think something like a meetup, even like once every 2 months, really helps. So even if I couldn't be there, I'm happy that it exists. And yeah, happy to facilitate a slightly different call today. We're even ahead of time. Yes, brilliant. Well, actually, I was planning for 6 people, so that's why. John, how about now we give a quick update on the things that have been happening on our ends. Any questions, any sensings before we go to John?
Yeah, I can offer some reflections. So one would be Rob Guthrie's birthday is on Friday. Natalie and I can corner him, and John can try and grind down every day up until then. So just we'll figure out something. But my suspicion is that he'd be quite up for having his story told. And so if convincing is the main block, then I'm pretty sure he'd be up for it. The working group invitation. As soon as I saw it, I was very skeptical that anyone would put their hand up to it. I think it was just too big an ask for Loomio to work really well. Like the whole idea of put your hand up to join a working group, I find usually needs to be an in-person conversation or a invitation which is given in a more one-on-one kind of way. And I haven't had that much success in, hey, everyone who wants to be part of organizing a thing and doing quite a significant amount of work, request through Loomio. Sometimes I find I can if there's a thread that's already alive or there's energy already there and I sort of tap into it. But starting something cold and putting it out there, I would expect to fall over. So I think that was probably more of the format and the medium rather than there's no one who wants to join that working group. So that was my first reflection there. Cool. One suggestion, or I don't know, it's my sense is that I'd rather see the board just up the maintenance budget of the website than go out to a network decision on it, or for the board to say we're thinking about doing this, any feedback or concerns, as like an advice process rather than a hey everyone, let's advise the board to do something. I realize it's hard to get hold of them and they're busy folks, but that would probably be another line to consider and weigh up versus the thing you announced. I absolutely love that idea of a product owner for the website. Particularly if that person was the one responsible for and accountable for the budget of the website. So they're the one whose face is against, hey, I'm raising money for the website or I'm spending the maintenance budget. And it's kind of anyone who has concerns goes to that person and Dan has that person directing them, rather than that person being the same person who does the work, which feels a bit conflicted at the moment.
Right. Well, John, you kind of started your part already, but you want to dive into everything else?
Sure. Just a quick reaction. Is the MVB, does the website maintenance fall within their purview to initiate a thing around that? Is that like...
It might be useful to check the agreement. In my head, they're responsible for ongoing costs of the network, and they have the discretion to be flexible about what is in and what is out of that, I believe. I don't think it's like saying this is in, this is out.
They have the decision-making power, but their mandate is only the financial compliance and like crossing the T's, like the financial basis of the thing.
Yeah, worth checking.
That's just been my vibe or just noticing the board initiating a lot of stuff, and it's like, I think we were just trying to minimize everything to just that financial compliance and like making sure that we don't go bankrupt.
Yeah, basically just says they're responsible for maintaining the contracts or overseeing all agreements and other entities. Decide what kind of financial entity, maintain and overview adequate reserves. Because in my head, they were the one who decides how much Optimize gets paid, right? And they are the client for Optimize work. And so that's the head I was thinking. But yeah, maybe they're not the right form for it.
Yeah, I think they're the one who executes the decision and maintains it, but I think the network actually has to decide that we want this, or like this is our vision of how Inspiral lives.
If it's not coming from the board, then I probably wouldn't suggest doing it under the same bucket of money that Ops does its regular maintenance from. And instead, I would say, yes, Dan, that's the better way of doing it. Once we get a financially enabled comms working group, that's how we'll do it. But the work is, let's stand up a financially enabled comms working group. They get a budget and they allocate X amount of budget for ongoing maintenance on the website, and that's part of their budget ask to the community. Because the frame of reference I've got at the moment is that we have like 15% of our internal work that we need funded and set up, and we've got like 85% to go before we can get all the things done in the way we want properly. So that would be, I'd love to see a comms working group, people, money, doing all the things. They're a client to the website, they have a budget line, they spend it on whoever.
So should we just propose it as a catalyst? I mean, since this is a functional working group now, that could hold that work for the time being?
Possibly. I mean, it's a Band-Aid either way, right? So one Band-Aid is the board takes it, one Band-Aid is the catalysts take it, and that financial working group's not set up yet. I'm keen to do that in the next month. I'm happy to jam on that with someone as well, because I know it's been my intention and I haven't really put time into it in the last 3 weeks. And the other one is a bucket raised with a fund that's drawn down at Dan's discretion as another Band-Aid. They all feel like Band-Aids.
That one won't happen though.
So cut that one off?
Yeah, cut the co-budget one off. That's not gonna feel good, I don't think.
Okay.
Just for, yeah.
Because the other one would be, instead of it being in with because from a Catalyst working group point of view, I'd rather not have the website funds mixed in with ours. I'd rather just raise money for Catalysts and have a budget of how much we're paying Catalyst and how long it extends, and do attention grabbing stuff to say, hey, everyone, help fund the Catalyst program. So it might be something like maybe the Catalysts raise a bucket and say, we will be the clients for Dan's thing, with a clear acknowledgement of this is a placeholder until we get a comms working group that stood up. How would you feel about that course of action?
It doesn't feel like Catalyst work to me, but as a substitute provisional measure, it also doesn't hurt. What do you think, John?
I don't quite understand, I guess, the concerns of putting it into the core budget. I think if the network's ready for that, and like, again, I would just put it through the working group Lumio. And so the people who are engaged in operational stuff could say yay or nay. This feels like stuff that we should be running through the foundation. It's like a core asset of the network. It's part of the brand.
Cool. So to me, the only reason I wouldn't want to do it is I don't want to use up people's willingness to give to the Catalyst Fund on other things. So if it's a clear, we're going to fund the website, where should we put it? Oh, let's put it with Catalysts. If that's the process, then that sounds okay to me.
I'm with you, but yeah, I'm with you. I agree completely.
I got confused because I was saying put it into the board core budget, and you were saying take it into, and you were saying take it into the Catalyst working group.
Yeah, because I thought you were saying it doesn't feel like the board's responsibility or mandate.
I'm saying that it feels like core budget stuff, and it's like that if we just put a recommendation to the board, put this in the core budget, this is what the contributorship wants, then they put in the core budget, and that's taken care of for now.
Yeah, cool. I mean,
that sounds better for me, but if there's any process that is different, like nothing like this happened using the Catalyst thus far, have it? Nothing non-Catalyst work use the Catalyst as a springboard.
Well, one of the things that I'm aware of is that we want 2 or 3 more financially enabled working groups. Catalyst will be the first one, and we don't have the funds allocated yet to bootstrap the other ones. So, but yeah, hey, I'm happy with your solution.
Okay.
Acknowledging we used a bit of time. Hey, Teddy, do you got any reactions or anything to this?
To this conversation, I've been following it closely. It's like a technical administrative conversation. I don't have anything to say other than I felt that there's no, I can't see any reason why the Catalyst working group shouldn't be kind of a proactive group. Jorian was talking about what falls inside the Catalyst and what doesn't. But if there's an initiative that needs to be sponsored, why can't the Catalysts decide to do that?
I think the only concern I heard was from JV of just like bookkeeping on our end. It like makes it a little bit messier. I think that was the only thing I heard that made me lean towards putting it to the core budget.
Cool. And just to clarify, I'm not concerned about the bookkeeping. I'm only concerned about people's willingness to fund the Catalyst program itself and diminishing that. So if that can be mitigated, then I'm really happy to include financial management of other projects within the Catalyst runway and budgets, and really committed to getting a good, clear spreadsheet which we can all understand and own.
Folks, I'm a little bit worried about time, because actually that was great because we had less people, so we had more time to dive into it. But I'm here wondering if we'll have time for everything. Any important noticing since they're in that part of the call? Maybe John, there's something you didn't talk about that you dig these days?
No, I think I'm good.